I was asked about my intake on marriage, and I gave them two sides of my perspective. Now that I'm whole and healed and I can see spiritually, if Christ is not in the middle of that marriage, there is no marriage. It's a contract. It's not a covenant. Marriage is not just about being bound to vows, wedding vows, or wearing cute shirts. This is my husband, this is my wifey, or going out in public, putting on a show, and in private, y'all looking at each other as an enemy instead of a nickel. Marriage is about promise, not a project. A lot of people use marriage as a project for materialistic reasons, or for emotional, unavailable reasons, or for control, or for a comfort zone, not a completion. See, when Christ is in the middle, no man can tear that marriage under, because you're not going to weaponize silence, or you're not going to pick apart each other's flaws, or when it get hard, one walk away and leave the other one there struggling in the marriage, or you go out and you find somebody else to be with because you feel like you don't have to do anything in the marriage, or you don't have to work hard to keep it. This is not a covenant. That's a contract. And when many get married when they're broken, when they separate, it deeply hurt because it feel like a tearing. Well, it is a tearing, because you both are there for a comfort zone. You're there for something tangible or something materialistic. You're not there for the real reason. And marriage is a promise. It's not a project. It's not something that you do just because your whole life was a disappointment, or you married this individual because they're easy to be controlled, or you married this individual because they got a lot of wealth or a lot of worth. You know, you marry this person because they're a trophy on your arm, or they somebody that can hold down the foundation until you finish running off doing God knows whatever. That's not what marriage is about. In Genesis 2:23 to 26, what did Adam say? Bone of my bone. And it might not be that passage, but it's up in there somewhere. Ephesians 5, what did Paul say about marriage? It's all throughout the word of God. People take the word and try to fit it into their own perspective. But no, marriage is an inside job. You got to heal. You got to be whole. And Christ got to be the center of that marriage, because if it ain't spiritual and it's fleshly, it's bound to break down, crumble, collapse, and somebody end up, you already know, they may just don't feel like, why I need to be here. The other individual just going to run off and be with witches and warlocks, and it can go in both perspectives. When Christ is not the center of that marriage, and Satan is, it's not a covenant. It's a contract. And y'all gonna only be in it when Satan there to pick apart each other flaws, hit each other below the belt, weaponize silence, sitting across from each other instead of invite. You avoid it. It's not for avoidance. And yes, it gets challenging at times, but this is where you all show up spiritually for each other. The warriors that you are. It's not about being bound by vows. It's about being together for the promise. It's not for the culture or just on emptiness. Love is not just a feeling. It's structure. It's spiritual structure. When your husband down, you lift him up. When your husband's strong, you give him more muscle. When your wife is in distress and she's carrying burdens, you comfort her. You pick her up spiritually. That's what marriage is about. And being as though I lived marriage in darkness, it never would have stayed together, and it didn't stay together because it wasn't put together by a promise. It was put together for a project reason, and that was because Satan was in the center. This time, my marriage, Christ's going to be in the center, and no man can tear it asunder. Blessings.